Hello! In this video I'll show you the peppers that I grew in my grow tent during the winter of 2021 to 2022. In this video I'll discuss equipment used, harvest, how I grew the peppers, and concluding thoughts. The tent used has a 5 by 5 foot base and is 7 foot tall, and inside is covered with a reflective material. Inside the tent we have the peppers, humidifier, fan, lights, and plants. I grew 3 types of peppers: hot Portugal, Thai hot, and ring of fire peppers. These were the only seeds I was able to purchase in October, as others were out of stock at that time. Let's look at the Thai hot peppers first. These plants were the smallest and produced small peppers. I had a total of 6 plants, and for the entire time I grew them I harvested about a soup bowl's worth of peppers. Next, let's look at the ring of fire peppers. These were my most fruitful plants, and the peppers produced were straight and the size of my middle finger. I had a total of 6 plants. Finally, let's look at the hot Portugal peppers. These are my biggest peppers and curved. The 6 plants were very fruitful. All the 3 types of peppers I grew were very hot. I used the humidifier as it provides a good source of moisture for the plants. I used 2 grow lights and at peak ran them at 75% of the maximum brightness. I hung up the lights with ratchet straps to the frame of the grow tent. This is the dirt I used. I used supplements to boost growth, one for growing and one for flowering. As the plants got bigger, they required more water. Peak water is about 4 to 5 pots every 2 days. Pollination was done with Q-tips at first, but eventually found that fan provided sufficient wind for this. I will now show you the progress of the growth of my plants. Around the end of March, around 5 months of growth, I completed my first harvest. Here's my first harvest of ring of fire and hot Portugal peppers. I harvested 155 ring of fire peppers and 35 hot Portugal peppers. Here's my second harvest of the ring of fire, hot Portugal, and Thai hot peppers. My second harvest was in beginning of July, 3 months after the first. During this time, the ring of fire peppers, which were directly under the grow lights, grew all the way up to the grow lights, or equivalently up to my hip. I did not count the peppers the second time, but it looks similar to my first harvest in volume. It was a pleasure to grow these. Initially I was unsure how all this would turn out and if the investment of the grow light, seedling, heating mats, grow tent, dirt would be worth it. The inspiration to grow peppers came from observing how fruitful bird's eye chili peppers were in my local community garden. I wanted to try something similar at home. I watched some videos on YouTube, read up on some good info on peppergeek.com, and talked to knowledgeable people at my local indoor grow store. I ran into almost no issues except at the beginning when I set the lights too faint and high up, which caused my seedlings to have weak stems. I fixed this by burying the stem deeper into the soil. The other issue was me remembering to give my plants consistent lighting, as I was unplugging the lights manually. I fixed this by getting a programmable switch which gave my plants 14 hours of consistent light. Otherwise, taking care of the plants was very carefree once they got more than a few leaves each. All I had to do was water them. When the flowers were blooming, a beautiful scent filled my apartment that gave me a taste of spring in the middle of the harsh Winnipeg winter. At times there were 100 flowers and the smell was very strong. No matter how cold it was outside, I could always open my tent and take a peek inside spring. I'll try this again, but with different plants, most likely peppers. In the winter, I think it is good to grow exotic, rare food plants that are hard to import and could provide a good gift or opportunity to cook up some interesting dishes. With my hot peppers plants harvested, which are currently frozen, I plan to make some hot sauce. Alternatively, one could switch to flowering or beautiful plants for aesthetics, beauty purposes. There are a lot of options and possibilities out there, and I'm excited to check them out.